The thing with the NBA is it's not just a sport, it's a cultural phenomenon just as much, you know.
What Chicago Bulls created from '92 onwards is a legacy that extends even now into 2022.
I've been painting graffiti since I was probably about 11 or 12 years old. I just stole a spray can from my parents' garage and went out and wrote my name on everything. And then kind of through my teens and my 20s kind of stayed connected creatively through graffiti, and then that evolved into like a mural practice and what I'm kind of doing now. Basically everything that I use in my work was taught to me painting graffiti. You know, like my use of colour, the materials were like spray paint and exterior house paint and stuff like that. I played a little bit of footy growing up, but it was always basketball that I loved. You know, I was kind of watching the Boomers and hoping we could finally get a medal, you know. And when we did, I was like, oh, I'd love to paint something about this. When I saw that image, it was just such a great image. They can wrap so much up, you know, on the surface they're one thing, but they can speak to so many different issues and undercurrents, I think, and this was one of those images that does that. It says a lot about not just basketball and the victory, but like mateship and hard work and race and just society in general. These guys are like a cultural phenomenon as well as a sporting phenomenon, and I think that also speaks to the NBA's kind of role in, you know, social justice and things like that. Obviously, I don't show my face, that's why I'm wearing a balaclava. It makes me feel more comfortable, especially coming from that kind of subculture where you do kind of stay in the shadows a little bit. I think the work's important. My head isn't important, you know. No one cared what I looked like until I told them I wasn't showing my face. And now all of a sudden they want to know, you know.
Everyone really loved Michael Jordan and what he stood for, but I always just remember thinking, I love Scottie Pippen, I love Dennis Rodman. I was never really the center of attention here in Australia or in community, but I could really kind of resonate with the Rodmans and the Scotties just like playing a role in the environment. My name is Rachael Sarra and I'm a proud Grang woman from the Bundaberg area, and I'm an artist, designer, business owner. Being part of the longest continuing culture in the world, there is, I guess, a duty to my culture and the people who've come before me. I always think back to my grandmother. It's a privilege to have her strength within me and use that as a stepping stone, but you can't be who I am today without acknowledging and holding with you what's come before you. The prime example of my dad being born in 1967 was for 7 years he, you know, wasn't considered even human. Until we can kind of acknowledge that our history as First Nations people and as all Australians is closer than what history books perceive, there's just a real role for me to make sure that the next generation, the next people coming through, take my beautiful art, but also understand the culture and the history that come with that. My work really embodies my story and my experiences, and I think as I grow and as I evolve and experience different things, my art will be the outlet to kind of work through what I'm grappling with internally. The outcome of art is less important, and it's more the process of what I want to say with that work rather than how I'm actually saying it. I really wanted to surround myself with things that made me feel something, and that kind of triggered memories and creative thoughts. And Dennis Rodman and the Chicago Bulls, like, they created something bigger than themselves in that moment through those championships. And I guess it's something that's quite inspiring to think about as an artist as well, creating something bigger than yourself. And I kind of found this piece of court from, 1992, a piece of memorabilia. I thought this was the perfect way to kind of have that visual reminder of what they were able to create as a legacy, and almost for me as a First Nations woman, tying into my love of basketball and, the fact that Rodman, Pippen, Jordan have all kind of played on this court was special to kind of just have and remind myself of the opportunity that I have to create something bigger than myself and to carry my culture with me and pull others up around me rather than going through this life by myself, Kind of just a cool reminder of, I guess, not only my love of basketball, but what, I guess, making someone feel something can do.